The features that are baked into the YoloBox Pro are what pulled me from the Mevo software at this time. This is a real-life YoloBox Pro customer story. I'm Jason Hoffman, pastor, youth sports live streamer. I have a self-titled YouTube channel that has the goal of helping others get over the hump of live streaming whatever event they're pointing their camera out. And when the YOLO Live team produced the YoloBox Pro, it was one of those devices I couldn't wait to review. Reviewing a product like this is not uncommon for this channel, but this one has sparked an interest in me that is changing the way I live stream. Now, depending on what time of year it is, I'm going to be live streaming football games, basketball games, baseball games, all for our local high school. Youth sports streaming is something that has become a very important part of what I do in this community. On a weekly basis, I'm also going to be live streaming my church services. We stream worship services as well as Bible studies. From time to time, we stream our small group discussions as well. On a weekly basis, there's a group of community leaders that gathers in this town to discuss things that are happening in our community, made up of business leaders, pastors, school officials, and we have a live panel discussion that goes live to Facebook once a week. Live streaming is one of the things that has become an integral part to what we do to reach the people in our own community. My current YoloBox Pro setup includes a Sony Handycam. The reason I've chosen the Sony Handycam is because it has a 20 some odd times optical zoom. Lets me punch way into the action from a good distance. It's easy. It was cheap. It has an HDMI out, and it allows me to go directly into a YoloBox Pro's one of their 3 HDMI inputs. It fits into the YoloBox Pro seamlessly. I also still use a couple of my Mevo starts. Those have to be converted from a UVC to HDMI in order to go into the YoloBox Pro, or you can put it in wired webcam mode and plug it in directly to the USB port that the YoloBox Pro allows as well. I also have a couple of GoPros that I use to stream, especially when the weather gets bad, or when I'm just going to do a few minutes of streaming, because as we all know, a battery-powered GoPro is going to overheat after a little while. It's just one of the things that we have to deal with. To take advantage of the live call-in feature that YoloBox has in their software now, I use my iPhone 13 Pro Max, or I use my iPhone XS Max as well. Those give me a wireless feature to use their web service to add a camera into the mix, as you can see in this clip here from an end zone cam that was mounted to a goalpost. For my mobile setup, I include an Inseego MiFi hotspot powered by T-Mobile, various microphones, power banks to make all of it run. Now, when I bring the YoloBox Pro into an installed streaming setup, like at my church, I'm running a Zowie PTZ NDI camera with HDMI out, so it plugs directly into the YoloBox Pro. Again, I'm using a couple of Mevo starts for my side shots, and those are coming in via the USB port or converted from UVC to HDMI there as well. My sound into the YoloBox Pro in that installed setup in my church is coming directly out of my soundboard into the line-in port in the top of my YoloBox Pro. And that setup has its own dedicated router that has an isolated internet connection so that I can get good upload speeds and I never have to worry about whether my stream is going to fail or not for a church service. One of the things I want to be sure and include in this customer experience story is the reason I use the YoloBox Pro as my main device for live streaming. Picture this, Texas 2017. Live streaming at that time for most people would have included streaming to livestream.com. There were only just a few options for churches to live stream. It was unheard of at that time for folks to live stream a youth baseball game. But a little company called Mevo developed a camera that could encode and stream if you could connect an iPhone to it. And so I purchased the original Mevo. It was one of the white ones. My daughter thought it looked like a minion, and she was fired up that I got it. I had the Mevo Plus after that because it had a better Wi-Fi chip in it, so it would connect from further away. And then once the Mevo Start came out, I invested in those as well. And the Mevo ecosystem was what I was using to live stream church services, sporting events, community events. And one of the great things about the YoloBox Pro is that I can still use some of that hardware to continue my live streams. You can use whatever camera you have so long as you can get it into a USB feed or into an adapted HDMI. You're rocking and rolling with a YoloBox Pro, and it has some features that are attractive to the end user. The features that are baked into the YoloBox Pro are what pulled me from the Mevo software at this time. The ability to run pre-recorded video roll over my live stream is something that is of a great value to me in the YoloBox Pro. The features built into the YoloBox Pro is what attracted me to the package, and their hardware works incredibly well too. I've never been left stranded when I was trying to stream through my YoloBox Pro so far. My impression of this product, it's going to give us a wide variety of cameras in the ability to input into the YoloBox Pro, plus a wide variety of features to use those cameras with, which means my streams become more engaging. It will last 3 hours with 3 HDMI inputs connected, real world tests. I did the test myself. I know that's a true statement. And I can add an 18-watt power bank and stream until the cows come home because I can charge and stream at the same time. One of the challenges I had before using the YoloBox Pro was getting a view that was close enough to my subject. I can only get so close on the sideline before I'm in danger of having those cameras knocked over by a straying football player or cheerleader that's running up and down the sideline. So the need for optical zoom is real in youth sports. The desire to run local video files for an advertisement or an announcement is also something that drew me into the YoloBox Pro's package. And so connecting any of the cameras that I have with an HDMI output or the ability to adapt them in, if they have an optical zoom, I've solved my issue. All of a sudden, I'm setting up in the press box or high up in the stands to get a good downward shot on the football field. And with a 20x zoom, I'm zooming in to what's happening in the huddle, backing back out to what the play is going to give us, and the ability to control all of that from much further away is the way the YoloBox has solved my issue of zoom being a real need. And because their software works well and allows me to preload video files on the SD card, I can, with the simple tap of a screen, load them up in between plays or in between quarters and have my advertisers give their message to the folks who are watching as well. Now, my favorite feature of the YoloBox Pro and favorite features of YOLO Live as a whole, I'm aware will probably not be the same as your favorite feature, but I almost refuse to have a mobile live stream based off a laptop. I want the ability to use a device, either a tablet or a cell phone, to begin my live stream. One of the great things about the Mevo was I could do that. And what I find is the YoloBox Pro is a tablet-based system. Now, baked into that system, they've included a monitor, a recorder, an encoder. They have a SIM card, so you have the cellular connection to stream. It's an all-in-one package, but it's a tablet-based package, and I don't have to lug around a laptop in order to get this to happen. This is not a desktop unit pretending to be a mobile unit, and that is absolutely my favorite feature about the YoloBox Pro. The other things that I enjoy about the YoloBox Pro include the scoreboard feature, which is built into the YoloBox, and it is just a tab and then changing the score. It's very easy to get to. It happens quickly. So if I'm trying to keep up with the plays that are happening on the field and change the score, I don't feel as though I'm distracted for an unreasonable length of time trying to get the score changes put in. The overlays that I can use for my graphics will accept both JPEGs, PNGs, any kind of picture file, and GIFs, whichever it is. I know that I can build those and preload them and have a bit of motion to my graphics because of the addition of the GIFs. When I set up to record this video, I simply grabbed a webcam from the drawer, plugged it into the USB port of the YoloBox Pro, and hung it over the top of my computer. As I get more comfortable with the live call-in, that may actually become one of my most favorite features about the YoloBox Pro, because it allows me wireless cameras in, but it also should allow me the connection with someone else who is there. My athletic director has already told me he'd be glad to take that call on the way out of the field house at halftime and actually do an interview in game while running a live stream. In the time that I've had this YoloBox Pro, YoloLive has released no less than 3 updates that I would call major updates. We are at 3 point something at the time of this recording. I know that I started at 1 point something when I first started using the YoloBox Pro, and the addition of features has been steady. So knowing that they have that kind of dedication to the product gives me some comfort in continuing to stream using what they offer. Their customer support has been incredibly helpful. I've been able to talk to them in customer groups and in Messenger on Facebook. It makes it really easy to get a hold of them and get questions answered quickly. They have a growing presence on their customer group, and there are a lot of folks there who are like-minded, who are willing to answer questions. So I feel like that community will be very helpful as folks adopt the YoloBox Pro, YoloBox, and YoloBox Mini, the new vertical version that they have, and as they come out with new products, to be able to have the help in place so that end users have a great customer experience.